Welcome to Business Talk here on businesstech.co.za. Now, for years, South African companies have been told that data is the new oil. You hear it at every single data conference you go to. And it's fascinating, but not for the reasons you think, because many of them are sitting on vast reserves and still running the organization like a corner cafe with a calculator and a bit of gut feel. Customer data everywhere, dashboards that nobody opens, forecasts that are based on hope more than anything. And yet, we're living in an age of artificial intelligence that can write your sales pitch, it can score your leads, and it can probably remind you to phone your mother at the same time. So, tonight we're asking a very simple question. Why, in a world that's drowning in information, are so many businesses still operating on instinct? Well, to help us unpack that, I'm joined by Andrew Bourne, who's a regional head of Southern Africa at Zoho, a man who spent more than 2 decades at this intersection of sales, of marketing, of technology, and digital transformation, which means he's probably seen every promise of a single view of customer out there. Andrew, it's great to have you on Business Talk. Let's just start with that contradiction. Businesses are collecting more customer data than ever before, yet so few are using it strategically. What's getting in the way? Is it a tech issue? Is it a leadership problem? Is it a culture issue? At a high level, why are we not using this data?
I think one of the biggest challenges is the fact that technology is very expensive in this day and age. And also, like you mentioned, the technicality of connecting all these different tools that you're using in business and having one center view of all that data in order to analyze it is also a bit technically challenging. So I would say, yeah, cost and technicality are those two main factors.
And it's important to understand how we get around them, because when you walk into an organization and you've got the sales team and the marketing team and the finance team, and they all have different versions of what the customer and all of that is, I think growth becomes almost accidental. You have to have better alignment. And if we look at the CRM, the 5 years ago, I think basically it was a digital Rolodex, we could call it, with ambitions. But if we look at a CRM today, how should business leaders be thinking about it differently? Because this customer retention management software is hugely powerful in the world of AI.
Yeah, so like you said, back in the day, it was just a place to store your contact details. Whereas now you really want to collect all your customers' information, all the different interactions that you have with your customers, whether it's having a view into the revenue that you're generating from them, so you're invoicing, or viewing the WhatsApp communications, the email communications, the surveys that have been sent out, any queries that they've come in, support queries have come in, so that you can have one single view and to be able to analyze that customer, to be able to really give them a good customer experience. And that's what CRMs do, is they help you build a really good customer experience. And research has shown that customer experience is going to be one of the main factors that it's going to influence the success of businesses in the future.
And it's not surprising to hear that, because I, as a customer, my experience every day is with the best of breed. I get into my car in the morning and I've got Spotify sending me the exact curated playlist that I love listening to. It knows me, it understands my tastes. I get home in the evening and I put Netflix on. Equally, it knows me, it suggests the best things to watch. And as a consumer, that's how you start judging every interaction you have. So for small businesses, I mean, you work very closely with small businesses. If they're not thinking like this, you can be certain that their competition is. Where are you seeing the biggest operational leaks, the things that are killing productivity and profitability?
So the challenge is a lot of businesses are still working in that historic day where they're asking people to fill out, Word documents to collect information, or even worse, maybe sending a form that needs to be printed and filled in. And so companies really need to look forward into digitizing more aspects of their businesses. Initially, to focus on all the income generating or income influencing digitizations and business processes, because obviously you want to generate more income to then pay for the technology. But this then definitely look at operational efficiencies and see what you could put in by just creating an online form for your customers to fill in information, just to make things more efficient. because your customer, the most powerful customer, will be your Gen Zs in 2030, and no, you won't be able to send them a PDF and ask them to print it out or fill it out and scan it back in. They're not gonna take that.
I hardly even think printers are going to exist in homes and offices because everything is moving digital. And also, if you think about it, in a low growth economy like ours, efficiency is actually part of your growth strategy. Because if you're not going to get it through top line growth, you've got to find growth somewhere else, and it's through efficiency. And that's where I think digital systems, digitization, digital transformation, you can call it what you will, but that's where a lot of the efficiency resides. But we've been talking about this for a while, though, data driven, feels like for more than a decade. Why is it still so difficult in practice, especially for SMBs?
I think it comes back down to cost and technicality. You know, these companies are using technology systems in silos. So these different applications that they use don't talk to each other. And they definitely don't talk to a central data analytics platform or business insights platform, as we call it. And when you are able to connect all of those different apps and metrics into one central view or dashboard, then you can plug in AI, and AI is going to tell you how you can actually improve your business. So there was research done by Forrester a few years ago that said that businesses that adopt a very advanced business insights and business intelligence strategy will go 10 times faster than the average global economy. And that's about 30% compound annual growth rate. So businesses need to look at these insight-driven platforms and find platforms that are user-friendly and easy to connect their data into them.
Yeah, and so you've got to invest. I mean, if you're a business and you're saying, "Oh, but that's going to cost," I think the cost of not investing is existential because it really threatens your ability to and your right to go out and compete at the end of the day. So you've got to be investing in skills, in the right integration, in the ability to harvest that data. So let's come back to the CRM system. How does a properly implemented CRM then change the posture of a business from being maybe reactive and always chasing its tail to genuinely proactive?
So, I mean, those are the two terms that are so important. And maybe just to give it more context, your customer service is your reactiveness. Something goes wrong or they need something from you, they reach out to you and you react. Customer experience is, how can you be proactive? How can you perform activities or reach out before something happens? One example would be sending a service reminder to your customer that maybe their device or their product needs to come up for a service. Or thinking about, you delivered a product to them on this date, they're probably going to want to buy another product at a certain time in the future, and you proactively reach out to them. And that's what your CRM system should be doing, is doing those automations that are really going to make you yeah keep in touch with your client and build the relationship, but also forecast and have this proactive outreach.
And trust me, nothing delights me as a customer or consumer of a service than when I don't have to worry about those things and the service provider is actually being proactive and saying, "Oh, Mike, I mean, for example, with Toyota and the dealership says, you're due for a service. Can we book it in for you? It's a digital process. Here, just click on this link and we'll book it in on whatever day." And I'm like, wow, I've got so many other things to worry about. That was top draw. So for me, it's this idea of customer intelligence, and I think we hear that phrase a lot, gets bandied about a lot. So for you at Zoho, what does customer intelligence actually look like on a Monday morning for a sales manager or a CEO? What are we talking about when it comes to customer intelligence?
So we've got various metrics dashboards. Obviously, we check all our outbound marketing activities, and we can also attribute those leads that come in, and we can see how much it's converted into business. Other things that we've done is, in the past, we've sponsored big sporting events like the SA20 cricket, where we had our website floating around the stadium. We had it on Supersport, and we were able to track the new user traffic in South Africa on our website during those 4 weeks. And so we were able to go and see what the growth was on the visitors, and then we were also able to link that to the amount of increase in signups for trial accounts from South Africa, and then see the conversion into paid customers. And so I think it's vitally important for all businesses to have those dashboards where you can go and see, are our marketing efforts really giving us a return? And to be also very innovative in certain places where you maybe track hospitality events. Let's say, for instance, you invite clients to maybe the hospitality at the golf or the rugby, and to be able to track to see, does business come from that person, or did that person maybe refer someone else to you? Did that relate in business? And you can only do that if you have a really very comprehensive CRM system and then data analytics platform.
Absolutely. And I'm happy you did come and sponsor the SA20, because I think as one of the early backers, it really has grown into an extraordinary competition as a side note, and seeing how well the Proteas are doing on the back of it. But just like a good cricket team, we see a lot of data and analyzing the opposition, and where are the bowlers generally going to bowl? Where do the batters score? What are their scoring areas? And then using that data to go out and implement and affect a strategy. We have to be data led and data driven in the world today. And I think within that, I mean, AI is everywhere, isn't it, Andrew? We just can't get away from it. There's an extraordinary amount of AI noise as well. So help us cut through the hype. Where are you seeing measurable, kind of bankable impact? Not the theory, not the hype, but real results using artificial intelligence.
So the one thing we see is what we call AI insights. So I'll try and explain it in an easy to understand way, where we've got a platform called Zoho Analytics, and you plug in all your business metrics. So you might plug in your spend on Meta, your ad spend on Google, and all the places that you do your advertising. You'll then plug in your CRM, where it generates all the leads and converts into revenue. And then what you do is you plug in AI. Zoho's got its own proprietary AI, but we also allow you to plug into the third party big LLMs. And then what happens is our AI starts to tell you where you can improve your business. So it might say, maybe spend less money on Meta and maybe more on Google, or maybe do this and maybe do that. And it's going to start. It's kind of like having another person in your boardroom to kind of give you advice on how you can improve your business. And so that's where we can see really, really big results. And what else we're seeing is things like what we call AI churn prediction. So within your CRM, the AI goes in and then it looks at the conversations on email. It looks at the conversations on WhatsApp. It looks at the conversations, telephony conversations, even your phone call transcripts are analyzed by the AI, and it can pick up the sentiment of your customer. Are they angry? Are they happy? Are they neutral? Are they frustrated? And now the AI is going to tell you whether or not your customer might leave you, or the happiness of your customer. So there's many different things that are really making, uh, business a lot better and easier. But again, it's finding really affordable systems and easy to use systems.
Yeah, and I mean, if we just think about how much money we spend as customers, as businesses, to acquire a customer, and then to potentially lose that customer, and often when you lose a customer, it's very difficult to get them back. So if you've got a system that can be proactive, that can predict, oh, just from the tone, the sentiment analysis I've done through all of that data, as you say, and you can intervene and avoid losing that customer, I think that is a huge win. And just one example of, I'm sure, many of how AI is being deployed. I think another thing for me is that it seems to be a technology that's going to lower the barriers, isn't it? And level the playing field. Do you see AI as finally allowing smaller businesses to compete with the big boys in town, because AI does naturally just, I mean, you could Claude Code and all of these other things. Is this the moment that SMBs can say, right, now we've got the firepower?
Definitely. And we've seen people do it. I've seen businesses where it's 10 employees, but they're operating like a 100-employee business. And it is because they've put a lot of effort into building their systems. And, for like a fraction of the cost, you could have, I know we offer it, you could have a toolbox of 50 applications that talk to each other for, roughly around 600 Rand per employee per month. And to look at that sort of cost effectiveness really does empower SMEs to go and build out a bot. We've got a bot builder in Sales IQ that you can link into WhatsApp. So now you've got a WhatsApp bot for your business at a fraction of the cost of what it would cost, a large enterprise to get a company to pre-build a bot. So no, yeah, like you said, there's SMEs are hugely empowered with the offerings that are out there.
Massive opportunity, and I'm almost like Spider-Man here. With great power comes great responsibility. As the decision maker in an organization, you can be guaranteed that if you look at who the winners and laggards are going to be in the next 3 to 5 years, the winners are going to be those companies that lean into this, that embrace the technology, that use these new tools. So I think that the question is, I mean, they're going to be business leaders watching this thinking, right, I understand this. It sounds good. It sounds daunting as well. I don't know where to begin. What's the first practical step, Andrew?
I would say map out your business and look at all the parts of your business that you can digitize, and then you prioritize these digitizations, because this digital transformation journey is going to be never ending. It's never going to stop. But the things that you prioritize are so important. So I would say if it's income generating and it's time sensitive, that's your highest priority. If it's income generating and not so time sensitive, then maybe that's your next one. Then if it's time sensitive and not income generating, that's your next one. And you would slowly move from the ones that influence generating income all the way down to then operational efficiencies, then customer service, and then down to the customer experience parts. But yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely then focus on that and prioritize your digitalization journey. And also look at the software companies that you're going to use. Obviously, privacy and security is very important, but you must also look at their view on cost. I know at Zoho, our main factors are privacy, security, cost optimization, making technology really affordable, and then also interoperability. Our apps must talk to each other easily, and then also ease of use. You don't want to be buying into very technical platforms where now you have to permanently have another company customizing it every time you want to make a change. You really do need to have internal staff that can easily go and make changes as the business is evolving.
It's such an important point. I was chatting to Kerry Faree, the CEO of Capitec, the other day, and even for an organization of that size, they took a very deliberate strategy to partner on some of their key, even sometimes core technologies. And he said, well, we don't have to go and reinvent the wheel, Michael. We don't have to do it ourselves. We partner with the organizations that are constantly delivering and tweaking their own offering so that we don't have to worry about that. We know we're always going to be at the bleeding edge. They can handle what they do well, and we'll go and handle what we do well. And so choosing that right, partner when it comes to implementing these data solutions is absolutely critical. Andrew, been great sharing your insights, and it's clear. I think if data is the new fuel or the new oil, as we're always told, and AI is the engine of this growth, then execution is still the driver, and that's ultimately a leadership question. And I think for leaders watching, they've really got to start and say, well, we've got to take the reins and lead, as you said, firstly by mapping out that digital readiness inside the organization. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.